I'm going to show you how to do the Trail of Corruption quest in Path of Exile 2. And you'll get this quest right after you get access to the Ardura caravan. So the first thing you need to do is it says you need to talk to the Sekima of Ardura. So go up here for that. We need to come up this way and find Sekima Asala. Talk to her. Talk to her again. And then it'll say travel with the Ardura caravan to areas of reported corruption. So just click on this desert map. And you want to travel to this diamond right above the Halani gates on the map. So with this desert map, you don't actually click on the waypoints. You click on the diamond that's near the waypoint you want. And once you do that, you'll be able to go over to the left and click the Halani gates. And run over here and talk to Sekima Asala. It'll say use the desert map to travel to Mawdun Quarry. So you have to go back onto the caravan and go back to this desert map we used earlier. And this time you're going to go to the bottom left of the map and you'll see this will say Mawdun Quarry here. So click this diamond, then just exit to the left again. And something I want to mention about the desert map is sometimes after I travel with it, it takes it a minute for this to load. So this exit doesn't load right away. I've also had it to where that exit won't load. And I have to go down here and this exit will load. I'm not really sure why that is, but I figured I should mention it. And we're going to be looking for a lift once we enter Mawdun Quarry. So while you're exploring this area, just look for checkpoints and they'll lead you in the right way. And I believe that this bridge area is always something that's going to tell you you're going in the right way too. So if you come across this bridge area, you're probably going the right way. And this is the lift I mentioned that we're looking for in here. So once you find this lift, just click on it and go to the Mawdun mine. And when you're down here, it says investigate the Mawdun mine. We're looking for a boss that's down here. Similarly to the upper level, if you find a checkpoint, it means you're going the right way. When you find this pile of wreckage that looks like this, that means you're really close to the boss area. And right before the boss arena, there will be a checkpoint before doors like this. Go in here, and it'll say munitions bunker. And for this boss, it can do this flamethrower attack, where you just kind of have to run behind it. And then it will also throw gas grenades and other explosive grenades. So just watch out for those on the ground. And you'll hear the lady in the cage say she's coming, and then she'll do this. So just make sure to dodge roll if you're too slow to just run away, because that attack will do a lot of damage. She also does this attack where she stands in the middle and spins. If you're on the outside edge when she does that where she spins in the middle, then I believe you're just out of range of the attack. But she does burn patches of the ground, so watch out for that. You can just do this. Once you defeat this boss, you need to free this lady from the cage, and then talk to her. Then you need to return to the caravan, so just create a portal to town. And once you're in town, you just need to go back to where the desert map is, and talk to the people with the icons over their head. Then it'll say use the desert map to travel to Traitors Passage, so click the desert map, and you'll see Traitors Passage right around the middle, so you have to click the diamond that's near Traitors Passage. Once you've used the desert map to travel, just exit out of the caravan at one of these exits, and it'll say ascend Traitors Passage to reach the top of the gates. So just go in Traitors Passage and explore. And if you find a stairway that when you go up it says the Six Sisters like this, that means that you're going the right way. What you're looking for after that is this checkpoint in front of the Halani gates. So go to the Halani gates. And once you're up here, it says find a way to open the gates with Asala. And all you have to do is summon Asala for this on the bridge. And then you'll have to fight a little wave of enemies. And after you do that, you just need to explore the area until you find a second bridge. I believe the second bridge is always near a checkpoint that's going to have a little mini boss called the Impaler. When you find that second bridge, you'll just need to fight off another wave of enemies. And just make your way through the map until you find this third bridge here. And right after the third bridge, you'll get a checkpoint. And there's going to be a boss fight in here. And this boss is going to have a few notable attacks. And for one, I'll show you, he always opens with this when you enter the arena. He's going to raise his hand above his head and then shoot a beam of energy right at me. So just dodge perpendicular to the beam to dodge it. Like this. Then he has one more kind of difficult attack, where he's going to slam the ground with his hammer and there will be a circle on the ground where he slammed his hammer, and that's actually a safe spot you need to stand in. The rest of the arena is going to take AoE damage, and I'll show you how to do that when it comes up. He also summons these little orbs that run around the arena and do damage over time. So he'll slam his hammer or his sword, and then you have to stand in the circle where he slammed it, and that's the safe spot. Sometimes you can get away with standing on the corners of the arena, but it's very inconsistent. After you get him low enough, he'll float up and he'll start summoning little enemies. So you just have to survive long enough during this, and then he'll just float off once you've survived long enough. And stairs will pop up in the corner of the arena here, so go down these stairs and just follow Sekima Asala, and you'll be blocked off with a sandstorm, and you have to return to the caravan now, so create a portal to town. When you're in town, you need to speak to Zarka, and this is Zarka right here. She'll give you a skill gem. Then you have to speak to Asala to learn about Orbala's footsteps, and she'll be right next to the desert map. Once you've done that, you'll have a few options of where you can go. You can go to Keth, Mastadon Badlands, or Valley of the Titans. I would go to Keth. I would go to Keth and Mastadon Badlands first, because in Mastadon Badlands, the enemies there can drop the Sun Clan relic, and the enemies in Keth can drop another relic that you'll be able to turn in for a side quest at Valley of the Titans. So you might as well go to those first in case you happen to get those drops. I'll go to Mastadon Badlands first, which is here on the map in the top left near where these bones are. So just click this diamond, then exit the caravan and explore around the area in here. And we're going to be looking for a checkpoint in here in front of a narrow passageway like this. And just so you don't go the wrong way, know that the checkpoint is going to be at the beginning of the passage. So if you're going through the other way and get a checkpoint, that means you're going the opposite way of where you should go. And what we're looking for ultimately in here is this place called the Bone Pits. And here's where mine spawned on the map in relation to the beginning of the map. So go into the Bone Pits. Once we're in the Bone Pits, we're just looking for a boss arena in here. And then here's where the Sun Clan relic will drop if you're doing the side quest while you go. And what you're looking for in here is this checkpoint in front of these giant tusks and a walkway like this. And this is where the boss arena is. Here's where it was for me in relation to the beginning. And I wouldn't rely on checkpoints in this area to lead you in the right direction, because some of the checkpoints in this area just lead to dead ends and things that aren't the boss. But once you find this boss arena, go in, and you're going to need to defeat the bosses in here. And it's a dual boss battle. Whichever one you kill first, the second one is going to be buffed up. Watch out for any circles on the ground. Circles on the ground are going to do damage from lightning or fire, depending on what this mage is casting. Caster will occasionally summon an orb in the middle of the arena, and it shoots projectiles in a circle like this around it. So just do your best to dodge these. They can do a lot of damage. I would say that's the hardest part of this fight by a pretty large margin. So once you kill one, the other gets buffed up. And they'll have a few different attacks. Once you kill these bosses, you'll get the mastadon tusks. And after you get the mastadon tusks, you can just go back to town and go to Zarka. Give her the tusks and you'll get a support gem. Next, we're going to use the desert map and go to Keth. So Keth is right here on the map, in this area that kind of looks like a city. So after we fast travel to Keth, we're just going to exit the caravan and explore Keth. And while you're in here, make sure to find this place called the Venom Pit and fight the boss in it, because this boss is going to drop a skill book for you. These Serpent Clan enemies in here can drop the Kabala Clan relic, which you'll need for that side quest at Titan's Grotto, the same one we grabbed the Sun Clan relic for earlier. But within this area, we're going to be looking for this bridge. And it'll have a checkpoint at the end of it, and then you'll be able to enter the Lost City from here, so go in Lost City. And when we're in the Lost City, what we're looking for is another bridge like this, and it will lead to the buried shrines. This is where we have to go. I like to just go around the outside edge of the map until I find this. And in these buried shrines, there will be a long bridge that you need to go across, and it will have a checkpoint at the end of it. If you find this, that means you're going the right way down here. And after you cross that bridge, somewhere within that area, you'll be able to find another bridge and these big pits that have an orange haze at the bottom of them. So when you cross that bridge, it'll lead you to the Heart of Keth, and this is where you want to go. I do want to mention, one time when I was in the buried shrines, I found an area that had 3 different pots called Pot of Fire, Pot of Water, and Pot of Lightning. And each of those corresponded to a different jewel. So if you find that, I believe it's a guaranteed jewel. I don't know if that always spawns down here though, but it is something to be on the lookout for because jewels are really valuable and hard to come across. Let's go into the Heart of Keth. And inside the Heart of Keth is a boss battle. When you attack this boss here, he'll attack you. Whenever he hits these pots on the corners, it makes one of the corners be a flame area. I'll give you an example of that. So like if I make him hit that pot, then it's going to spread flames throughout that corner of the area. Keep that in mind, because if he hits all 4, then you basically just have this square in the middle that you can go around. It's pretty hard to avoid that happening, but just know that's why it happens. So we need to take out this boss. After you take out this boss, you'll be able to go into this room over here. You can loot all these urns and stuff in here too. And you need to speak to this water goddess. After you speak to her, go over to these ever burning cinders and take them, and then click her, and it will ignite her. And she will drop the essence of water. After we pick that up, make a portal to town and go through it. And then we need to talk to Zarka. She'll give you another support gem. And after we do that, we just need to head back up to where the desert map is. Interact with the desert map, and we're finally going to go to Valley of the Titans, which is down here in the bottom left. So click on the diamond next to it, and exit the Ardura caravan. And in Valley of the Titans, we need to scan the outside edge of the map. There are going to be 3 altars we have to interact with, and interacting with all 3 of the altars is going to open up the place we need to go to. And if you're following along and picking up the clan relics, also along the edge of the map, there will spawn a spot that you can go back in, and there will be a waypoint. And this medallion here is where we're going to turn in those relics we found. You can click on this and open your inventory, and you can either press Z to toggle items being on the screen all the time, or you can hold Alt and left click your relics and grab the relics and drag them over. Then you just get to choose whether you want charm charges gained or mana recovery from flasks. You can come back here and change this at any time. This is a permanent buff. Go back to the Trail of Corruption quest. You'll find these checkpoints next to these altars like this. You just have to go up and click these spots that say Ancient Seal, and you're gonna have to find 3 of these. Once you find all 3 of those, it'll say enter the Titan Grotto at the clasped entry, so we need to find the clasped entry. And the clasped entry will spawn in a big open field like this and have a checkpoint in front of it. Here's what it looks like on the map. You just need to enter this Titan Grotto. And in the Titan Grotto, you're looking for a checkpoint that's right before a long set of stairs that goes up into an arena like this. Here's where mine was on the map in relation to the beginning of the map. And this is called the Dais of Reckoning. Here you just need to fight a boss. Most of this boss's attacks are pretty straightforward. He'll do an attack where he shoots a laser at the ceiling, and he'll make rocks fall from the ceiling. Aside from that, the attack that I want to mention is sometimes he will stick his blade in the ground in the center of the arena, and when he does that you need to stand behind his blade because he's going to do a laser blast attack that will kill you very quickly. So he'll do this, he sticks it into the center, and then he does a flame blast, laser blast. Basically insta-die if you're not standing behind where he put his blade. And once he's about half health, occasionally he'll spawn ads that come in at you. Once you kill this boss, he'll drop the flame ruby, so pick that up, and then go back to town through a portal. And we just need to give this flame ruby to Zarka. He'll give you 1 final support gem, and then you'll get the Horn of Vastiri. And once you have the Horn of Vastiri, go back to the desert map, and then fast travel to this diamond right around the center. And we're going back to the Halani gates, where we got cut off from the sandstorm. And once you're here, just walk to the front of the ship, and it'll show this sound the horn. So click on this, and that'll clear the sandstorm. Then you just need to speak to Asala in here, and use the map to go to Deshar, which will be to your east, over in this columns area. So click on this diamond, then get out at Deshar. And right when you get to Deshar, you can interact with this abandoned rhoa here, and then you'll get this Traditions Toll quest, and they'll say look for the owner of the abandoned rhoa in Deshar. I would recommend picking this up because this quest is a really easy way to get 2 skill points. The quest isn't mandatory, but if you take that quest, you're just looking for this fallen Deshar, and their body will spawn in front of one of these circular buildings on the map. I believe it can be pretty much anywhere throughout this map, but if you click on their body, then it'll drop this final letter. You can grab this and then take it back to the caravan, and you can give it to Shambrin on the caravan, and that will give you a skill book or book of specialization. But the spot we need to go to progress Trail of Corruption is this Path of Mourning, and it will be inside one of these buildings. It usually spawns really far from the beginning of the map, so just make your way as far from that entrance as you can and you'll probably find it. And it will be a staircase like this. So go to this Path of Mourning. In this Path of Mourning, what you're looking for is this really big staircase that goes up like this, and that takes you to Spires of Deshar. This is where we want to go. And in the Spires of Deshar, make sure to find the Shrine of the Sisters in here. You'll be in an arena with a checkpoint like this. And when you interact with this, it's going to make a bunch of enemies attack you. And click on this shrine, and you'll see you get 10% lightning resistance, and that's permanent. That makes a huge difference in your gameplay. Other than that, you're looking for a checkpoint in this area before an arena like this, and this is where a boss you need to fight is. And this is where that checkpoint was for me on the map in relation to the beginning. So it most likely will spawn really far away from where you entered this area. And once you make it to here, go in and fight the boss. I don't think this boss really has many dangerous attacks. I think it's a pretty easy one. Try to stay behind the boss generally, and watch out for the areas that have flames on them, because those will do damage while you're standing on him. And while you're staying behind him, he'll occasionally turn around and try to headbutt you like that. And just roll out of the way of that. Just rotate around and dodge roll his swings. Once you kill this boss, it'll say speak to Asala, create a portal to town, and go back to the caravan. And go up to where the desert map is, and speak to Asala. Then click on the desert map, and on the very east of the map here, you'll see this spot next to the Dreadnaught. And we need to go here, so click on that. And then exit the caravan onto the Dreadnaught. And now we just need to fight our way through the Dreadnaught. Most of the Dreadnaught's pretty straightforward. There was this part the first time through where there's this huge cart, and I didn't realize that there's a path that goes off of it. So make sure to check your map for any small pathways that haven't been explored if you run into any problems here. But after you go far enough, you'll find the Dreadnaught Vanguard entrance. And go in here, and just make your way through this next set of carts. And eventually on the Vanguard, you'll run across a checkpoint in front of an arena like this. And you have to go in here and defeat this boss. So you'll get a little bit of dialogue, and then you have to fight the boss. This is a 2-stage boss. In the first stage, I would say you have 2 attacks that you're going to have to watch out for. This one, where he spawns these 2 pillars in front of him, and they'll do AoE lightning around him. That does a lot of damage. Most of the time, he'll just stand there and throw lightning spears at you. So just dodge these and attack him. Occasionally, he'll do this. You can just stand behind him to dodge a lot of these attacks. When he has this thing going, if it gets close to you, you can just roll through it and you won't take damage. When he does this wind, you have to find Sekima, and you have to stand behind her. Watch out for the enemies on the ground, because they do pretty big damage. So make sure to stand in a line behind whatever she's blocking, and wait for this wind to run out. He also does an attack in his first stage, where you'll have these electric things chase you. Kind of run in a circle, and they won't be able to catch you. So kind of run in small circles to dodge that. Having movement speed boots helps as well. Make sure not to roll while that's happening, because they'll catch up to you if you try to roll. Rolling slows you down a lot. Once you get his health low enough, he'll run over to the front of the ship, and he will chop off the front of the ship. And then he'll move on to the second stage. In his second stage, he'll conjure sandstorms, and you'll also get sound cues when he does big attacks, like this. So he has one where he chops straight down, and then another where he sweeps. For the one where he sweeps, you can either stay out of range, or you can just iframe it by dodging right as he does the sweeping attack. He also sets down these electric things, and these are just another obstacle like the tornadoes, but you can also roll through these and not take damage. He also does this attack where he spawns these orbs that go forward. You just need to run towards him for this to dodge them. I messed up and stopped recording, but the 2 other attacks you need to watch out for is he'll shoot down these spears in a circle, and they'll make little rocks on the ground that conjure down lightning bolts. And then he'll summon these portals that shoot a bunch of projectiles through them, And for the portals that shoot projectiles, you can roll perpendicular to where they're shooting projectiles from, and you'll take less damage by crossing over the path of them that way. So that's a way that you can get across if they block you off from where you need to go. Then finally, when you get his health really low, he'll stop moving, and you actually need to click on Sekima Asala on the ground, and she's going to be the one that finishes them off. But then once you have all this done, create a portal to town. And once you're on the caravan, you need to go up here. And then you can actually go over to here, and the gate will be down, so you can walk down that and go this way. Up here, you'll get the Shrine of Garokhan, and you have to talk to the hooded one in here. Then once you talk to him, go back to the caravan, and go to where the desert map is and talk to Asala, and then click this Travel to the Sandswept Marsh, and that is all of Trail of Corruption. That's it.